Hello, welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about visual calculations. And I have two things to say before we really get started here. One is that this is based upon a recent post by Brian Julius, who I have mad respect for, and this is a great piece of detective work on his end. The visual calculation that we're going to be using as an example is based upon his work. So I want to get that out there. And if you're into Power BI and you're not following Brian Julius on LinkedIn, there's something tremendously wrong with you, because this guy just delivers day after day. All right, the second thing that we're going to do is that we're going to assume that Microsoft is actually trying to make things better and easier in Power BI. Okay, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So, okay, so let's get into this. So the measure that the calculation that Brian came up with, and you have to have your preview feature turned on for calculations and all that. And so here it is. Okay, wait, let me get started. This is just a simple enter data query. And I've got a measure, the famous -3 measure, right? Where we get wrong totals, right? 497, 197, nope, wrong, nope, wrong, wrong, actually. So all wrong. So to fix that, Brian came up with a pretty nifty little calculated edit calculation. Here we go. Calculation, expand all, sum, measure, columns, rows. And you can see here that, right answer, right answer, right answer, right answer, right answer. So it fixes the measure totals, right? They're fixed. Except for one problem. So if I switch this to a table, it's broken again. And my calculation is broken. So the problem being that I no longer I referenced columns, right, as an axis, and there is no axis for column. And in fact, most of the visuals that you are going to encounter can't do that, right? So anyway, so basically, is this making it easier for users? So they're going to create a visual of a calculation, they're going to switch their visual, and it's going to break. I don't think that makes it easier. Second thing is something I've alluded to before, right? So I can come in here and I can do something like info annotations and go ahead and run that. And so there's my annotations that are in my file, right? But if I go over here, measure, and I say info annotations, it shows up, right? And I hit enter. Like, it doesn't allow me to do it, right? And if I try to take this visual calculation, take this visual calculation, go back to measure 2, back to my report, back to measure 2, paste this in there. So I mean, it doesn't even recognize expand all, right? Because it's only valid for visual calculation. So somehow, even though info is only valid in the DAX query view, it shows up here as a valid function versus with visual calculations, the measures that aren't valid for outside of visual calculations don't show up here, right? They don't resolve, right? But then you also have the problem. All right, go back into here. Info annotations. Oh, look, they show up, but of course they're not valid. So again, I would like to go with the benefit of the doubt that Microsoft's trying to make this easier and better for users, but all I see it doing is making things even more confusing for users. You can use some DAX functions here, but not here, and others here, and sometimes it causes an error, and depends on which visual you make in terms of whether your calculation works or not. I mean, holy cow. I don't know how a new user to Power BI would keep all of this straight, honestly, right? And if this is the answer, right? If this is Microsoft's answer to making Power BI better and easier, right? Well, then why not just add a fourth place to write some DAX code, right? And a fifth and a sixth, because every time you do that, apparently it makes Power BI easier. Makes no sense. That's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.